we don't do this segment very often, but when I get a company that I think is relevant, we'll do a feature called Small Caps for People Too. I got to tell you, we probably get 100 emails a month from you, viewers and listeners, asking me to look at a stock, and many of them are big board stocks. Many of them are stocks that I've never heard of before. Then some of them are small cap stocks. And look, if I get a small cap stock, and I know I can get a CEO on the air, it's difficult for us to get a guy like Larry Ellison from Oracle. I think we've had him on one time in the 15 years we've been on the air. But the good news is when you can get an inside picture of what a company looks like. I think not only do you get a good education, but you also get a clear view as a shareholder of what it looks like. One such company, their stock symbol is OOIL. OriginOil is the name of the company. OriginOil.com, or is it OriginOil.com? Riggs Eckelberry will be the only one that can actually tell us. Riggs is the CEO and founder, and this is a great company. First of all, can you once and for all, because Russ is obviously having trouble with it. Yeah. It's Origin Oil.
Okay, Russ.
Yeah.
It's like the origin of species, okay? Origin oil.
Origin.
Okay. I'm putting a dash in there from now on.
Put a dash there,
Origin
too.
oil.
All you need to know is the stock symbol, OOIL.
And you figured out a way to get oil from what?
No, they didn't.
Okay,
No.
here's what it's all about.
Coffee?
No, that's
we
not
can
it.
do that. Yeah. We can actually get oil.
I bet you could too. All right, first of all, I had a lot of people last week email me about your website and such, and I think you did a great job explaining. You guys are not oil exploration, but you guys serve that industry.
Correct. We're a technology company, and we have a technology called electro-water separation. Okay? So we get both the good stuff and the bad stuff out of the water.
Now the reason is when oil drilling happens, water comes up. Water is used oftentimes to do that. It's part of the process, right?
Well, every single day, oil wells all over the world are pumping water in to get oil out. In America, we're now doing this frack flowback thing, where they're gunning that water in large amounts and it's spewing out, and it has to be reused. There's tremendous water shortages in many counties. For example, in Colorado, 80% of the water that the oil industry wants is already committed to other residential and commercial uses.
Yeah, well, they're just going to borrow it, is what you're kind of saying. Just use it for a while, clean it up, and here's your water back. No, it doesn't work that way?
Well, here's the idea. Okay. They bring the water in. Now, whatever comes back up the pipe, they reuse and put back down, and that's where we can help.
Okay.
Because there's another element to this that you talked about last week, and that's algae.
Yes.
Now, algae does what magic thing?
Well, algae, of course, was the original oil.
Okay, that's right. That's how it all started.
Boom.
Okay.
Really?
And yes, so I'm not going to tell the long story about how it all started.
There's subsidiaries going to be called algae oil, which is going to be really difficult to talk about.
Yeah, whales
all right,
gave us some oil
but doesn't algae suck up CO2?
Exactly.
All right.
2 for 1. So for every pound of algae fuel that you make, you're sucking up 2 pounds of CO2. Right,
okay. So it's a clean energy source.
It's not only clean energy; it's the only one that actually catches us up in a way.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Oh, nice. Okay,
you can drive your car and actually do good things.
All right, good. That makes sense.
Right.
All right. So the process is electro-water separation. How does that process work?
Okay. Well, so last week we had a fantastic announcement where independent studies validated using fluid imaging, very, very sensitive stuff. And I'm gonna ask Curtis to put up the first slide here, showing a very, very dirty. It's completely meaningless to you.
Well, let me explain for the radio audience. For the radio audience here, and we'll put this and we'll post this up at bigbizshow.com, and also can we put these up at originoil.com as well?
They are, and we'll make sure they are. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are we looking at here? You're looking at what looks like a chart and a report.
Correct. So in that chart, you've got very dirty, oily water. Okay. That's typical of coming out of a frack flowback process.
Okay.
There are 16 million particles per milliliter of this crap, mostly oil and other suspended particles.
Okay, so when you're pulling up water, you're pulling up other crap with it, is what you're basically saying.
Some of it's
Don't
good.
use technical words around me like crap.
Okay,
anyway,
sorry.
We got it.
A lot of it's petroleum, which is useful, and the rest of it is stuff you want to get rid of. They know what to do with it. Okay. Now, the next slide shows us, after our treatment, just a few moments later, and now we're down to 80,000 particles.
So for a radio audience, there's a before and after here that's unbelievable. So before it looks like the before picture looks like smog-ridden L.A. County, and afterwards it looks it's completely different.
Correct. The particles are much larger. They're agglomerated, as we say, and we've gone 99.9% reduction in real time, which is phenomenal. It's a huge piece of news for us. And what I wanted to do is just quickly show the next slide, which talks about how the process works.
Well, I'll tell you what I want to do. Let's take this over to the next break, because electrowater separation is basically your proprietary advantage.
Correct.
And by the way, Riggs Eckelberry is the CEO of the company. The name of the company is OriginOil. OOIL is their stock symbol. OriginOil.com is their website. And of course, you can see all the graphics he's talking about right there on the site. I guess the interesting part about this is that you've got an adoptability rate that's very high right now for any sort of clean energy, any sort of clean technology that's in a non-clean energy space, which is what you have here. And then there's also the fact that you have a proprietary advantage. We're talking about both of those things when we get back from the break. His name is Riggs Eckelberry. Once again, OriginOil and OOIL.
Yeah.
The stock symbol. Also, I'll give you some numbers on the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P.
We clean the crap out of your freaking water.
Yeah.
Rusty Nail is now the spokesperson.
Out of your fracking water.
OriginOil.
You can go with that, by the way. Go ahead, Riggs.
Oh, that's good. He's going. He's gone. He just left. Thanks, Russ. Appreciate that. Big Biz Show, BigBizShow.com, CBS Radio, Armed Forces Radio, Business Talk Radio Network, Biz TV, TiVo, Time Warner Cable. Back after this. Riggs Eckelberry, by the way, the CEO of OriginOil, with us today. OOIL is their stock symbol. OriginOil.com is their website. And Riggs is nice enough to swing by here to this in studio. That's one of the things about our Small Caps for People 2 segment is, we interview guys like Steve Forbes, or we get a Larry Ellison every 15 years. You get to ask them about their business, and you get the inside peek. But with a company like this, it is has a proprietary advantage. It's got a bulletproof management team. It's got a great story. Plus, now you get to figure out how oil is drilled and how it's cleaned up. So it's kind of a 50,000-foot view of your industry. I had no idea so much water was used in the exploration and the drilling of oil. It is a key component, right?
Well, as Rusty said, it's a clean water protection racket.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Want your water
Is that
clean?
what
Talk
this
to
is
me
all
here.
about?
Yeah,
It's a
that's what it
clean
is.
water protection
Yeah,
racket.
you know what I'm
Totally.
saying.
Okay.
So
We
here's
get
what's
the
going
crap
on.
out of your fracking water. I think it's a great.
I'm not going
I
down
want
all
you to
the way.
run with that.
Yeah.
All right.
So at the end of the day here, once you guys clean up the water, you separate it. What do you do after that?
Well,
What's
it's
the next step?
two places things go.
Okay.
The water itself is clean enough to then go through a final purification process and potentially go back into the water supply or go back down the pipe to be reused instead of more water being trucked in. So less trucking, less use of the water table. So it basically reduces. Already in the Marcellus, 40% of the water being used for frac jobs is already recycled. So it's a big trend, and it's going to increase. As I was saying, in Colorado and other places like that, that water's already committed. There's not allowed water to start with.
Let's look at the next graphic up here. And for our radio audience, once again, you can see all these graphics we're talking about at originoil.com. Once again, their stock symbol OOIL. So it's called electrowater separation. It's a two-stage process whereby you've got dirty water coming out of these oil rigs.
Right.
You guys use your electrowater separation process. And now we're to the point where you have separated the crap from the fluid from the concentrate, whether it's algae or whether it's oil or whatever it is. What happens next?
Okay, good. So the water goes downstream to whatever's going to happen to it. Excuse me. And the concentrate is often valuable oil. We were our first field trial in Lost Hills near Bakersfield in February. They took water that they had settled for 2 weeks, and this is water they normally then truck off. We separated out more oil, and they had dollar signs in their eyes, like, oh my God, we've been.
So they just thought it
trucking
was
stuff.
water they're trucking out, throwing away. This is almost like the tailing business in mining. You know, when they mine and the stuff gets tossed out of the hole,
Sits there for a while, and then all the good stuff.
That's right, and you can actually extract gold, silver, platinum, copper, wherever out of those mines. This is the same thing. So what occurred to me, and I was talking to Riggs on the break, is this: not only is this a service you're providing, but you're also making these guys money because you can harvest whatever oil or algae or whatever's in there, right?
Exactly. Well, one thing you don't want to do is try and make people, recycle because they have to.
Right.
You want them to do it so they can make money.
Sure.
And that's a whole different game.
You ever just offer, we'll just take that crap from you, don't worry about it, and then there's gold and stuff in there, you're like, hey, thanks, George.
Nobody else in the world does business like that, Rusty. You want to sneak it off like,
so you
nothing to see here, folks.
You split it with him, you say, like, you get part, we get part? Or
Well, the stuff goes back into there. Here's how it works. They're spending 14, 20 cents a gallon to truck the stuff in, to do things to it, to dispose of it.
Right.
Now it's going to cost them much less, and there's going to be product coming out of it. So the model is very simple, right? The model's simple. Right now is we work with service operators to themselves charge by the gallon, and the local well operator's like, fine, I'm spending less money than I was, fewer trucks. everybody's happy. It's a win-win.
So let me ask you something here. With respect to your business model, because I'm already getting emails from people again today, and let me see here. I've got Mark Hobbs from Atlanta, Georgia asks, what is the business model? So is this a licensing model? Is this a service model? Is this you're self-contained kind of a turnkey thing? How does this work for
Well, I wanted to bring up the next slide because
let's do it.
that really talks about our business model. You can see that we have numerous markets we can go into.
Mm-hmm.
We're currently in oil and gas, algae, harvesting, and now emerging is aquaculture, and there's a bunch more.
And for our radio audience, just so you can see this, because I know we've got people watching us on television, we've got people listening to us on radio. For a radio audience, I'm going to put this chart up at bigbizshow.com. It's also at originoil.com. But really, what you're looking at here, you're looking at kind of the technology spokes of a wheel, so to speak,
Correct.
Of what you guys can provide. And one of the interesting parts of this is that you're not just in mining. You're also in industrial. You're also in agricultural. You're also in algae production. You're in, it's multifaceted.
No, well, exactly. Now, we can't possibly go into every single market.
Sure.
It's impossible. So we license.
Okay.
You know, the
That's
sales
a good
we make.
idea.
Yeah.
Who thought of that? Was that yours?
Not you.
Nice
No,
move.
I take my cue from Ray Dolby. You know,
Okay.
he could have built the
The Dolby sound system.
Thank you. He could have built a very fine Dolby receiver, and
Yeah.
today would have 1.3% market share.
Yeah.
It would be the best sound receiver in the world.
Right.
But instead, he chose to wide the license, and it became a standard. And that's the way to do it.
And so what you're doing is you're licensing the process, the electro-water separation process, and making that the gold standard for this.
Yes, we're currently signing up, you know, what we call original equipment manufacturers, OEMs, to take the technology and integrate it into their end-to-end process. So we don't have to worry about the pipes and fittings and the local labor and all that stuff.
Right.
They handle all that part, and we get a revenue share from the sales of the entire thing they sell.
That's why you're the big cheese.
That's what they call the piece of the action there.
How about
Rusty.
that?
That's the racket.
All right, so look, this is what I want to do, Riggs. I think next week when we have you in here, I want to go through sort of the business model again and maybe explore some of those other industries. In fact, Curtis, bring up that last chart one more time for me. I want to take a look at that because the interesting part of this thing is I want to talk about those other industries where you can't possibly be in every industry, but you can certainly license in every industry. Once again, the name of the company is OriginOil. Stock symbol is OOIL, originoil.com. But that's the one. Agricultural, mining, industrial, the entire thing's there. Yep. I'll tell you what. Riggs, thank you so much. Riggs Eckelberry.